and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today, in honor of Valentine's Day, but this could happen anytime, we're going to talk about healthy families from the perspective of the adult partners, not just the kids, and look at how we can strengthen and improve that relationship. My guest is Alvean Lyons. Welcome back.
Thanks, Robin.
This is so important because if a family loses that central framework of two adults in a committed relationship, other things start to break down.
Oh, you said that like you hit that nail right on the head.
I've been there. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Oh, nobody heard it. Just us and a few hundreds of thousands of people. It's nobody. It's okay. But yes, it's very true. We forget, much like, almost like a tree, so to speak, that that relationship between the adults is the trunk of the tree. It's central to everything else. The kids are the limbs. You know, they come out of what that is. So when we're not having a healthy experience, you and your partner are not working well together at all. The kids suffer as a result of that. And sometimes we think that because they're not hearing us scream, for those of us who are quieter about it, or the fact that, you know, we're not saying anything to each other, as if they can't feel it. Kids are so incredibly intuitive that they can feel the tension that exists in the relationship, even when we're not emoting that tension. So it's really important for us to recognize how important it is to be healthy between you and the person that you love, or the person that you're supposed to be building this life with. That's central to all of this.
And it doesn't mean it's bad.
Absolutely.
I mean, there are times when you're just on separate tracks.
Absolutely.
You need to get back on the same track together.
Especially now, given the fact that so many of us work and we work so many hours, you can really come out of sync with your partner during those periods of time, because you've become kind of, the tunnel vision has set in, and you're just working on that mission and trying to get this thing done and be the best you can be as a professional, whatever that may mean for you, and you get focused on those things. I mean, quite frankly, it happens even in faith communities. There are pastors who, as much as they love their partners, they themselves are so consumed with taking care of all the needs of the church or the nonprofit or the community organization, or as a city council member or a government member. It can be so consuming that you didn't realize that by accident that thing became your partner rather than the person that you're supposed to be sharing your life with. So getting back in sync and reinvesting in each other really has enormous benefit for us as adults, and it really has incredible benefit for our kids also. So for this particular Valentine's Day, or this time of the year, it gives us an opportunity to take a look at our relationships. What are we doing up here that may be affecting us on a horizontal level and then affecting us on a vertical level? And what can we do or be more mindful of that might help to make that better? So if we think about this in terms of like kind of taking a leap forward or giving our relationships a little bump, here are the 4 things that would come with that. So we're going to use BUMP as an acronym. Okay. So be a billboard for your partner. Now, what does that mean? Well, when we think about billboards, it's this great advertisement about the best things about this particular product. When we see them somewhere, whether, you know, quite frankly, these days, memes and, you know, things that you're seeing on social media, they're basically billboards. They're the modern day version of, to make you think that whatever this product is, it's amazing and you need it and it's wonderful and it's going to make you better and all these good things. But what it's always doing is saying something good about whatever it is. We as partners have to make a conscious effort to say good things about each other. Our feelings always follow our thoughts. So you got to be careful about what you're thinking about, because what you're thinking about will ultimately become the way you feel, which ultimately becomes the way that you communicate, which ultimately becomes the climate of the relationship. So it all goes back to the way we think about this stuff. So if we start to change the way we're thinking about our partners, that, you know what, this is why I loved her in the first place. This is what it is that made me smile about him. This is what I love when we're together. God, she makes me laugh when she does these kinds of things. And to be able to say, and not just to your partner, but to others, hey, she is so great at this. And I love when he does that. Oh, he makes me laugh so hard. Those kinds of things, not only does it have wonderful impact on the people that you're around, because positivity makes all of us feel good. And everybody wants to believe in the goodness of relationships. So hearing good things about other people's relationships actually does positive things for most people. We're too negative naturally as a
I was
society.
going to say, it is just so much easier to focus on
Absolutely.
the socks on the floor and the trash that didn't go
Absolutely.
out and the, all those things because they're, it's making you crazy. It's easier to see that.
Oh,
it's easier
definitely.
to see that at work. You see what people failed to do
rather than what
and
they
not
did do.
what people do.
Exactly. And we commune and commiserate over our shared negative experiences, but it only expands negative space.
Right.
So by the time you get home, you haven't even seen your partner all day and you're already irritated because you have rehearsed every irritating thing about them during the course of the day with the other person who's irritated with their partner, and it just creates an atmosphere that is not conducive to love. It's just not conducive to affection. It's not conducive for excitement or joy. So when you start practicing being a billboard for your partner, you'll be surprised how happy you are to see them at home because you spent the whole day or the times where you were talking about them saying good things. And you're hearing yourself say those things, you are psychologically talking yourself
You're reminding yourself. You're not talking yourself into something you didn't believe.
That's exactly
You're just
right.
reminding yourself
of what you once believed or what you already know, but forget to acknowledge.
Right.
So the same way that the Fitbit reminds you to move, when it tells you to move, make a point of saying something good about your partner. Call them, text them, whatever it is. But just understand that you're setting the pace for what this thing is going to be like when you get home. So be a billboard for your partner. Say good things as often as you can because good things will follow. Then second, umbrella. You got to be an umbrella. When I say umbrella, what comes to mind to you?
I'm going to say this is the weirdest thing, but it's the picture that came into my mind. I remember when Barack Obama is being escorted from Air Force One, and he makes sure that Michelle has the umbrella, and he is there in the rain. That's my image.
Beautiful image. But it's that idea in a relationship that I will shelter you. That when it rains, I have got you covered. And we have to be more of that for each other. That I am a safe place for you to be vulnerable. I will get wet so that you can stay dry. And there are moments in relationships that as long as that is mutual, that it's not always I'm the person protecting you, but that we mutually are there for one another. That umbrella, that sheltering really lends itself to incredible intimacy and mutual commitment in a relationship because we all seek a space where we're seen, we're heard, we're understood, and we're valued. And the things that make me uneasy, you're the one place that I can say this out loud and not feel judged for the fact that this is something I'm afraid of, or I'm struggling with, or I'm worried about. And somebody else may think I'm neurotic and crazy, but you just hear me. And you're not trying to fix me because I'm not broken.
Yes.
I just need to process out loud what it is that I am wrestling with on the inside. Our emotions are just like a ball of yarn, and we're a cat tossing around these emotions all the time. And sometimes we can't sort that out until we get it out. And when you get it out, you sometimes hear that you sound crazy. You don't even need someone else to tell you.
I sound a little crazy.
Right, like that was kind of nuts. I shouldn't have been working on that, but I just needed to get that out. And now that it's out, I can leave it alone.
Yeah, or I can think through it in a way that is less crazy.
And
Maybe
makes
not
sense.
Crazy, but less.
But like we could pull this string and we can realize that there is a connection between this and this. And if we process it all the way through, we can find our way out of this place that we're in right now. But you got to have somebody that you can open your mouth and you can say these things to. And it still be okay. And them still see you for your best self. So being an umbrella for our partner is one of the greatest gifts that we can give them. Everybody wants a safe place. And there's nothing more intimate and romantic than someone who is your safe place. As a friend and as a romantic partner, you've got to be able to be that umbrella. So make the conscious effort to be that for them. Then M, mirror. Be a mirror for your partner. Now, I'm talking about almost the equivalent of a magic mirror. Okay, so let's
So you don't
conceive of
reflect
that.
back the bags under their eyes and the
Right.
crankiness and some of the other things.
Right.
Instead,
You are reflecting back to them their best self. See, in the work that I do sometimes when I'm not here doing these kinds of things, I get to work through marital or committed relationships that sometimes have struggled with someone being unfaithful. And what is very interesting to me is how shocked people are to discover that the person that their partner was unfaithful with is often not as attractive as they are, not as accomplished as they are. They always build up in their mind that somehow this person must have had more of these things than I had, and that's why he or she was able to get the attention of my partner. But that is almost never true. 90% of the time, when that happens, the person, all they experienced, as in the partner who had the indiscretion, all they experienced was an environment where that person reflected back to them the person they wanted to be.
attention.
The attention, the belief that they were somehow more, better, that they were bigger than they see themselves as, they were the person they wished they could be. They were almost a magic mirror. So when they looked at the person, they didn't see the 2 on the scale of 1 to 10. They didn't see the 5 on the scale of 1 to 10 in terms of beauty and success. They saw a 10. And they saw a 10 because they were seeing their reflection, their positive reflection of themselves back in this person's eyes. That in this environment, when I step into this space, I am the best me. I'm the me I've always wanted to be because that's how this person orients to me. So everything else is insignificant. So if we could be that for our partners, if we could reflect back to them, and not to the point where we ignore bad behavior, and I'm not saying those things, but I am saying that when you have an interaction with a partner that makes you feel like your best you, that when I come home, I feel beautiful with this person. If I don't feel beautiful anyplace else, he or she makes me feel beautiful. I feel smart around this person. They reflect back to me the best parts of who I am. I will always go home to that person because I love who I am with that person. We have to be that kind of mirror for our partners because when we do that, not only do we feel better about them ourselves, but they feel better about themselves and mutually the relationship is better. So it is in some ways a magic mirror because I'm not reflecting the fact that you have a pot belly back at you. I'm not reflecting the crow's feet back at you. I'm not even reflecting the fact that you're cranky in the mornings before your coffee. None of those things. But what I reflect back to you is the fact that you're a great partner. I can always count on you. You make me smile. You're just adorable. When you laugh like that to the point that you're crying, I am so tickled on the inside. I just reflect back to you a great you. And you feel great about you in the space you share with me. So we've got to be kind of a magic mirror for our partners. Everybody deserves to have one somewhere in life.
Right.
Everybody. Then finally, it is our P. We have to be a playground for our partner. Sometimes we get so serious as adults that we don't even have fun anymore. Like kids get it right with just having a good time.
You've said this in other contexts
oh my gosh,
as well. Yeah.
They really get it right. If you hang out with kids, which is part of the reason that people who spend time with people that are younger than them live longer, because they haven't lost the joy of youthfulness. You can forget all of that when the aches, pains, bills, issues, and stress and everything else sets in. We could get so rigid and so serious that we're not having fun anymore. And we all need to have fun. Our inner child shouldn't die just because our adulting requires us to do all kinds of other things. You got to feed that inner kid. Men do that better than women do. Women, we become moms, we become professionals, and we're just focused on doing all the things that matter. But men have a very good way of compartmentalizing. I'm at work, I do what I got to do at work. But every once in a while, they will totally check out. I sometimes ask my husband, what are you thinking about? He was like, if you could hear my brain, you'd hear nothing but crickets. Like, nothing but crickets. I'm not thinking about anything deep or intense.
Yeah, we have a hard time letting go.
We have a hard time with that.
Yeah, we do.
You know, so it's important sometimes to just shut it all down and just focus on having a good time. Enjoy the game if you're a dad, if that's your thing. Get outside, hang out with the kids. You know, go run, go climb, go do whatever it is that is your thing. Go play some basketball. But don't lose the fun. And don't lose the fun together with your partner.
That's it, because if you think back to how you got with this person,
in the first place,
chances are there were, you know, fun dates where you tried.
Yes. Yes.
Where you did things together, where you had those shared experiences.
Right.
And if shared experiences become just unloading over dinner, or, you know, dealing with aging parents, or dealing with toddlers, or whatever is going on in your brand of family, those are important. A foundation, but they're not everything. They're not providing.
They're not everything, and they're not, and they're certainly not fancy talk. You know, like that's not the stuff that's going to get us holding hands and hugging and laughing and cuddling. That's not going to get us there.
Yeah.
So the truth is that we've got to make sure that we have some fun sometimes. Like, the reasons you got together were good reasons. It was not obligation. You were not betrothed. You know, like we got together because we liked each other. You can't lose that just because you've been together for a long time. You've got to make the conscious decision to play with each other. It doesn't necessarily happen naturally. It's not in our busy lives. Maybe, you know, maybe it should, but I think you have to really sometimes make that effort. Make a date. Absolutely.
Or, you know, stop doing something that you feel you have to do, and
do something
just
that you want to do
laugh
together. Oh, totally. And like you said before, I always reference it with kids. They do what they have to do and cannot wait to get outside to that playground. They cannot wait to go outside and play and do what it is that they enjoy doing with the people that they enjoy. But we need to learn from that and do that with our partners. Do what you have to do. Yes, we've got to pay bills. We're grown-ups. We have to pay a mortgage or rent. We don't want to be homeless. You know, go do your work.
Right.
But when you have the opportunity to, make the conscious decision to go have some fun together. Go enjoy each other, minus all the other stuff. And sometimes make a point. We're not talking about the kids. We're not going to talk about expenses, or we're not talking about
talk about money.
We're not going to talk
about chores around the house.
No, we're not going to talk about what hasn't been done. We're not going to do any of that stuff. We are totally just here to enjoy each other in this moment that we're sharing, and that's it. And when we, you know, go back to our real world, whether it's, you know, because we've officially ended this time or we've returned back to the driveway, fine, you can turn that back on, but make the conscious decision to unplug from all of that and just enjoy the person that you love. And when you consider all of these things together, it changes the atmosphere for the two of you, which in a household, if you happen to have children, it changes the entire atmosphere for your children. And children who grow up in a loving, warm atmosphere, who've watched people be good to each other in relationship, choose better relationships for themselves. They are better to themselves. They are less willing to have relationships with partners that don't treat them well because they saw what healthy relationships are supposed to look like. And they are better to other people, even in friendships, because they understand the dynamics that are necessary to create positive connections. So bump it up. You can do this. And whether it's for Valentine's Day because it reminded you of this, or whether you apply this long term, you've got to make sure that you bump your relationship up every now and then, just to ensure that you're constantly growing as a team.
This is great. Okay, so we're going to call this the Alvean bump, because if you remember on the Colbert Show, Stephen Colbert would say that any celebrity who came on his show got a bump in ratings. He called it the Colbert bump. And this is going to be the Alvean bump for your relationship. So when you remember it, you're just gonna take that extra notch. You're going to take that relationship up to the next level, or back to the level
that it was right when you got together,
and keep that in your mind.
Indeed, we're all better for it.
Thank you.
My pleasure, Robin.
And thank you for watching. I hope that in the craziness of your day, whatever that is, whether it's toddlers or work or parents or other kinds of stress, financial stress, that you can remember this shared foundation you have with someone, enjoy it, and bump it up to that next level. Thanks for watching.